I spent 6 months, entire month, researching about possibly moving for a new job in Sweden, Norway, Finland, Netherlands, Amsterdam, UK, London, Denmark, Copenhagen, Germany, Berlin, Munich, Switzerland, Zurich, Vienna, Austria, Krakow, Poland, Warsaw, Poland, Prague, Czech Republic, Kiev, Ukraine, Lithuania. Where do I want to live? Which social system is beneficial for me to have family, like education system, medical health insurance system, pay, tax, tax-wise, how much net income I'm gonna get after tax, or school system, safety, everything. I did a whole research. It gives you so much perspective about, if you have an option to be able to live in different country, work visa and everything. It gives you, it opens up so much doors. You don't need to be stuck in one country, one system, one social system, because you have more options. Possibly, it'll be cool to have a remote job while working in Seville in Spain or Portugal, because weather is nice, people are much, happier because of the weather, much better seafood, tropical weather, and just beach nearby Seville. And it would be nice to have a remote job, getting paid American salary, but living in Spain, somewhere warm. That'll be my dream. I need to really plan out my vacation, because I have 6 weeks vacation, but I need to decide where to go. Definitely go back to Japan for food, Asia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, possibly Thailand as well. Summertime, I might want to do Italy, Croatia, southern France, Spain, Seville, Portugal, all that one place, as well as Eastern Europe like Kiev, Odessa, Poland as well. So I just have so many options and so many stuff. I can take advantage of my time, same time, but spend differently in different country. I wouldn't be able to do this if I were working in a Japanese company in Japan. Welcome back to my channel, guys. So I haven't really talked about why, the real reasons why I moved to Germany from Canada, immigration and stuff like that. And past 3 weeks, I've been in Germany for 3 weeks so far, and it's been a week since I started my new job. First 2 weeks, I met many guys, people at the hostel, they're travelers, backpackers, or they're backpacking, finishing exchange semester and going back, stuff like that. And I've talked to many, and they ask me why I'm here in Munich, and then I tell them, oh, I'm not here for traveling, I'm here because I got a new job and moving. And then they ask me why, what was it like, what is your experience, or what is the context, why did you move from especially Vancouver to Munich, because Vancouver is a really nice city, great city in the world, in a global standard. And so I needed to give them reasons why. And I came to have a few conversations about pros and cons, and how they responded to my response, and they agreed, and they disagreed. Mostly I wanted to give you guys the reasons why I moved here, and also my experience so far, talking to meeting a bunch of travelers and backpackers about in general about traveling, living in Europe versus North America, the cultural difference, social system, and the reason why we like it and we dislike it. So number one reason why I always tell other people when they ask me why I moved to Munich from Vancouver. First of all, they ask me where I'm from, and I tell them, yeah, I'm originally from Japan, but I lived in Canada for 9 years. And why I'm here, I'm not here for traveling. I got a new job, engineering job, and then they tell me, oh, that's so cool, blah blah blah. So why did you decide to move here? And most of the time, including myself, half a year ago, most people don't know much difference about salary compensation or vacation days, different amount of vacation days we get in Germany versus North America, or the whole social system and cultural difference and stuff like that. So I usually tell them a little bit oh, the reason why I moved here is because I kind of got bored of living in Vancouver, Canada, for 9 years. I kind of wanted to have a little change. Also, I like to travel, so 6 weeks vacation is super awesome for me. Whereas in Canada, at the good company there, I was fortunate enough to have 4 weeks vacation. Usually standard is 2 to 3 weeks, so 6 weeks, 4 weeks in Canada is pretty decent. If you are working in the United States, most companies give you 2 to 3 weeks, and some really good companies gonna give you like unlimited, but that's really just a rare exception. So most of the time, 2 to 3 weeks. And here, located in North America, everywhere is so far away except South America. So if you wanna go travel to Asia or Europe, basically you're gonna take 15 plus hours of a flight, and you gotta book, at least a week and a half vacation. So most of your vacation is gonna be, spent for just one trip. And so far away was here. Connectivity is super well. So in Germany, like Munich is like in the middle of Europe. So connectivity is so high. You can fly to Italy, France, Croatia, anywhere in just 1 or 2 hours. And then you can drive down to Italy or Croatia or southern France just 4 or 5 hours. So that's how good the whole logistical situation is here in Munich. On top of that, you get more vacation, 6 weeks vacation, super great. And I kind of wanted to, in the winter time in Canada, it's like pretty much you're putting your life on hold, basically because it's raining, gloomy, overcast, and depressing. So basically from October to May, Canada, like Vancouver was, I was feeling like, not doing much. And I felt like I was wasting my time, my life. I felt like I could have done something more. I could have had more fun if weather was nice. And definitely weather impacts our mood, how we feel. And if weather is nice and warmer, then we feel more uplifting and happier. And so I wanted to get out of that situation. And that's that. Even if it's colder in the winter, if there's a sunny days, it's gonna be much better as opposed to having a gray, cloudy, gloomy, overcast kind of weather. So that's another reason. So traveling, vacation, I can travel more, I can have more fun in my life. And also another reason is because I'm turning 29 this year. And I have only so much time to do whatever I want with like a freedom and abundance that I have right now before I settle down or like start having a family. And moving to a different continent or a different country is much more hassle if you have more commitment and investment. If you start a family, if you start buying a house, a mortgages, a car, if you have lots of investment in certain properties or your lifestyle, then it's hard to move. So this is the only time that I can do without much about hustle right now, because I can move around without somebody else's decision, right? Stakes much lower because I can just go, and if I don't like it, I can come back too. So this is really when I'm much free, more flexible, I can do it. So this is a really like right now I need to do it kind of thing. So that's why I did it, made a huge move. I spent actually 6 months, maybe 5-6 months researching hardcore last winter, since last October until like last March. Pretty much all the winter after working, after coming back from work, pretty much I did all research in the forums, Reddit, Quora, reading all the posts about people, their information about social systems, salary compensation, tax, different taxing system. Yes, tax is much higher here, but education is going to be free. Medical system is going to be on par with Canadian, or even better. I don't know, stuff like that. In Sunday or like more vacation days, so it's gonna pay off in the long term if I do decide to stay here. So those are the reasons why I decided to move here. And then another reason, more objective reasons, is that Munich is rated as world number 3 in most livable city ranking, after Vienna, Austria is number 1 in the Warsaw city ranking, and the second is Zurich, Switzerland, and the third is Munich, Germany. And then 4th, 5th is like Canadian and Australian cities like Toronto, Calgary, Melbourne, Vancouver. So from an objective perspective, it does make sense to move to Munich. because they have objective measurement, they have an index, about many different aspects of the city, like social system, safety, education, so it does make sense to move from top 6 to top 3 in most world's most livable city. It's not a huge mistake, which is kind of like good because it's a safety net that I'm not making a stupid mistake from moving from Vancouver to world 200th livable city. It could be like some small country or a small city like Winnipeg, or it could be like Kansas City or Oklahoma, which is not as high, rated as high in the most livable city. It doesn't mean they are not good city, but just overall scores and ranking wise. So yeah, that's what I tell them. And then I actually meant more like I was kind of overestimating, or I was underrating underestimating the how cool it. I didn't know, like since I started working, when I travel, I always book AirBnB for private entire apartment, because the days were gone where I book a cheap place at a hostel when I travel. So I haven't been I have been avoiding hostels for a long time, 2 years now. But this time before, actually when I came here, I stayed at a hostel for 2 weeks for cheap accommodation while looking for apartments, because I didn't want to spend much money for Airbnb, right? Because it's not going to be enjoyable even if I stay at Airbnb, because I'm not going to be doing anything other than doing apartment research, hunting. So I booked a hostel dorm room, the cheapest option, like 10 beds, 6 beds. And actually, that was like really cool experience. Like I met so many people, not so many, maybe like 3 to 4 people. They're like professionals, or the student who is finishing exchange in France and going back to start doing consulting work at one of the big 4. Or 3 Canadian girls who work as an accountant at the big 4, or the guy from Chicago who's working at the Wall Street investment banking company in Chicago. And those professionals, I was surprised to know that I met so many professionals at hostel than just random tourists or party students, like Erasmus students. Maybe because it's in Munich, it's not known for a party scene, like in a different city like Budapest or Prague are known for party and cheap drinking. Maybe the location-wise that affected kind of people who come here. But I was so pleased to meet those guys because I get to know their industry. For example, I talked to the girl who finished exchange in France, and then she's gonna start working in consulting, one of the big one in Australia. She told me that difference in like European education versus the North American Anglosphere, and then pretty much I agreed about financial system. I got to know, like I kind of confirmed the knowledge that I got from Quora about Australia having a tall poppy syndrome, which is about them not really celebrating success as much in the United States as in Australia. So people give you they give you frown face if you are too obvious about being confident or be too proud of your accomplishment and achievement in Australia. You need to be a little bit toned down, because if you're it's kind of like Japan too. The tall poppy syndrome is in Australia, but Japan as well. Equality, socialism, Denmark as well. Dante law in Denmark. Basically, they focus too much on like equality, so they don't like people who are overachiever. Or that's the reason why I read in Quora that in Australia there are not many startup and entrepreneurship culture, because it's more traditional thinking there in Australia. The finance, banking, laws, medicine, doctors. Those are the one of the coolest areas to study in Australia. Same in Japan. And she said the same thing. If you're trying to create a startup company in Australia, people is gonna be like, what are you doing? What's in Silicon Valley or West Coast, North America? Like all the big companies right now, like Uber, Google, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, all the companies are started as a startup company, right? Airbnb, and they are the world's top 5 most profitable and biggest companies by revenue in the world, right? Right now, it's all technology company. So you can see how, how much value, the software engineers and tech startup entrepreneurs are valued considerably high compared to, like, say, in Switzerland or Germany or Australia. The software engineer status is much higher. Because of that, they get paid so much higher. Whereas in, like, let's say Amsterdam or London, software engineer is not considered as high status as investment bankers or in the financial industry, because finance is more traditional and big in London, Switzerland, Zurich. And so I validated that tall poppy syndrome exists in Australia, which is kind of cool. Meeting people from different countries gives me different perspective and understanding. Same in Japan too. You don't want to stand out too much. Being normal is really important in Japan. And she's Australian girl told me the same thing about Australia. And she exchanged in France. I also exchanged in Czech Republic, Prague. So we have both exchange experience and also have an education experience for me Canada, for her in Australia. And we both agreed that education system in Europe is just so theoretical, top down, rigid, not flexible, not practical. She told me it's just so theoretical, and the professors are so stuck in their old way of thinking, traditional thinking, and they just teach the same thing over and over. And it's just far away from practicality. And I noticed the same thing when I studied in Prague. Because it's not that bad, it's not that good or bad, but because they have so much history, like University of Oxford was founded maybe like 13th century, right? So much history to protect. So that's a reason why they become so like legacy. It's hard to find, it's hard to change, and the flexibility is not there as much as in North America, where new countries built around in the past 200-300 years. Canada wise, it's like 200-300 years, right? Australia too, it's a new country, so it's easy, more flexible. So cultural, like a historical perspective, it does make sense that it's more rigid and a traditional top-down in Europe. And I did research on a master's program for computer science and software engineering in Europe, like Munich, Switzerland. I went through the programs, and most of the programs are not as practical as master's degree in North America, West Coast. I found most of them are just too focused on theory, and I found it to be not too useful for my career growth. So I felt the same thing. University education wise, it's not as progressive and innovative as North American university in the West Coast. West Coast is more progressive. I don't know about Midwest or East Coast per se. So that's that. And people here tend to be more politically incorrect about race, gender, ethnicity, and everything. Europe is not as innovative or progressive as Canada, Australia, or United States in certain regards. I'm talking about liberal West Coast, more tech-oriented, innovative cities. I'm not talking about some state in the middle. In Canada and the United States are progressive and innovative. I'm talking comparing West Coast cities, tech-oriented, capitalism-driven cities, much more politically correct and innovative and new and flexible. And that's what I found so far in experience Europe and North America. So that's my experience so far. People tell me, that's so cool, like you moved to Europe for a new job, how was it like, was it easy to find a job, or did you pick Germany specifically, or did you research and apply for many jobs in multiple cities? And my answer is I narrowed down my list to like a few top 3. I did research because Europe is not one country, it's a bunch of countries, and the countries have different systems, salary expectations so different. Like Amsterdam and Munich, pay scale is so different. Austria, like paid so much lower. Same thing, Belgium, Spain, so much lower for tech engineers. It's like half half the money I would be earning in Munich, in Spain, or Portugal, or Italy. Basically, the more south you go to in Europe, less you get paid in tech industry because there's not many tech industry there. And also tax system is so much different. Vacation wise is different. People wise is different. Social welfare system wise is different, right? So you can't just say, oh, Europe is Europe. So I did research and quite a bit of a difference I found. I spent 6 months, entire month, researching about possibly moving for a new job in Sweden, Norway, Finland, Netherlands, Amsterdam, UK, London, Denmark, Copenhagen, Germany, Berlin, Munich, Switzerland, Zurich, Vienna, Austria, Krakow, Poland, Warsaw, Poland, Prague, Czech Republic, Kiev, Ukraine, Lithuania. I've done all the research, Spain as well, Barcelona. So I've done the whole list of countries research past 6 months. Where to live, where do I want to live, which social system is beneficial for me to have family, like education system, medical health insurance system, pay tax, tax wise, how much net income I'm gonna get after tax, or school system, safety, everything. I did a whole research. It gives you so much perspective about, if you have an option to be able to live in different country, work visa and everything. It gives you, it opens up so much doors. You don't need to be stuck in one country, one system, one social system because you have more options. So that's where I've been past half a year, and I think one of the rare people to do that, to immigrate from North America to Europe, because most people wants to go to the United States for better pay, but yeah. And people tell me, good for you, good for you. So that's that. I'm gonna finish my video here, but this is basically those are the reasons why I moved from Vancouver to Canada to Germany, Munich. And the cool thing about Germany is that if I pass basic B1 German test, I can get German permanent residency visa in 21 months. So that after 21 months, I can basically have option to. I can leave Germany before 21 months, but once I get it, I have more, safety net, right? More options. And I'm thinking about, possibly it'll be cool to have a remote job while working in Seville in Spain or Portugal, because weather is nice, people are much, happier because of the weather, much better seafood, tropical weather, and just beach nearby Seville. And it would be nice to have a remote job, getting paid American salary, but living in Spain, somewhere warm. That'll be my dream. I might get bored of Germany. I don't know, but that's again my plan so far. So yeah, that'll be really nice. So yeah, that's my plan, and I need to really plan out my vacation because I have 6 weeks vacation, but. I need to decide where to go. Definitely go back to Japan for food, Asia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, possibly Thailand as well. And at summertime, I might want to do Italy, Croatia, southern France, Spain, Seville, Portugal, all that one place, as well as Eastern Europe like Kiev, Odessa, Poland as well. So I just have so many options and so many stuff. I can take advantage of my time, same time, but spend differently. In different country. I wouldn't be able to do this if I were working in a Japanese company in Japan. I wouldn't have so much vacation days. Usually they have 5 days. They work, hardcore, intense work hours, and work-life balance is not important there. Family time is not important there. So it's really this 21st century. I'm so blessed to have these skills, computer science and software engineering skills to enable my life basically. I'm one of the few who can, take advantage of this stuff, live abroad, work visa. It's so easy because of my job and vacation. My pay benefits are pretty good. So, but hopefully my ideal place to settle down is Zurich, Switzerland. And my coworker is from Texas, but she, traveled quite a bit as well. And then she said Switzerland is really nice, ideal, dream place. So for me, I've never been to Zurich yet, but if you have family there, it'll be super nice because lots of country, nature, lakes, beautiful mountains, Alps, views, scenic, and you get paid more. Cost of living is higher, but pay is like way more, and the safety wise and everything just Switzerland, just my dream. I need to go there to see if I like it or not. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. It's a long video, but it's basically my experience so far in Europe and the reasons why I moved to Germany, and I'm gonna have fun here. Hope you guys got some inspirations. You're not limited to one country to live if you have skills and you have if you have boldness to try out a new culture and country. So try that out. Life is not limited. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.